first all the work is done, college research is done, applications are done, and then the parents and the child, and as I will say, even the counselor is spoiled for choices when all the offers are on the table. Which one to choose? So I still remember calling Charishul ma'am late in the evening and saying, "Ma'am, UBC or Waterloo? UBC ranking is higher or Waterloo?" So lot of such questions and I would say interactions which go way beyond the counseling process.
As our son was growing up, once a child starts coming to 9th standard or 10th standard, so that's where you start having this queries about the child's future. So it started for us. It started from there, that what is the child going to do in life, and for that which college or university will be the best option for the child. And that's where we had started when our son, who passed out in 2020, and we started when he came into 9th, and that's where we started looking at that which could be the best university, whether in India or abroad, number one. Number two, the finances, that what are the best options available, those which are within our reach. And third was the whole process of transiting from an Indian system to make our child ready for this transition. It should not happen that we should not have done things, which would have enabled our child's admission into a university of his or her choice. So these were, I think, three biggest concerns.
And other biggest concern was him being a sports person, and so though he was good academically, but that mad race for 98-99, so he was not in that league of 98-99. So that also made us think for foreign education. I would say that our journey with University Connection was very fulfilling, and though it started on a very apprehensive note, but our first meeting with Charishula ma'am was very positive, and I think the journey is still going on. We are in regular touch with each other, and whenever I have my friends and others asking me with their concerns, I always guide them to Charishula ma'am. My answer to them always is that we had a one-time experience, and the things, and especially after the COVID, are in such a flux, and the education system abroad and India, things are changing at such a fast pace, that she would be the best person to guide you.
The best part, like Anu said, from our first meeting, what stayed with me was when Charishula had mentioned that we will make your child work with us. And incidentally, in one of those, when we were looking for various consultants, there were 2 or 3 consultants saying, "Not to worry, sir, you just bring this much money and your job shall be done. We are experts of Australia, we are experts of Canada." But here was one lady who said, "You and your child will have to work with us." And when I look back at my son's journey and our interactions with University Connect, that by the time the applications were filed, my son had everything on fingertips. The way the university research was done, every time the child would be called in the office, some associate will sit with him, make him do the research. So the whole effort of looking for which universities, which courses, fee structures, and all the other schedules. Of course, we as parents were always there. We were interacting at one level with Charishula. But the beautiful part was, in 2.5 years of association with University Connect, they enabled our child also to sort of know the whole process, go through that process, and the development that happened while he was filing the application. 2-3 projects that he did, those were recommended by University Connect people, and the whole process of which all files, and it was on his computer. So that was, I guess, one of when we look back, one of the most empowering and like a integrated approach. It is not just the experts telling us something to do, we as parents just signing the checks. It was not that. It was a developmental kind of a effort, that happened.
Yeah, so to put it precisely, I could say, so when the journey started, so we were in equal partnership, but as the journey evolved, we were in the background. It was the student and the UC team and Charushila ma'am who had taken over. So that was very relaxing.
Yeah.
Like generally the parents are stressed out by when the actual process starts, and we were relaxed and we were at the background, and it was completely taken over by the UC team and Angad himself. Yeah, I would say if we say the mentors were at two levels. So firstly it was the Charushila ma'am, who was like everything was in her purview, and after her I think it was Radhika, and I think then I really don't remember, because as I say, as we went ahead with the process, we were more in the background. So it was it was Angad only who was interacting with them. So yes, I remember at times he faced challenges in writing the essay, and he would speak to the mentors. And the best part about the mentors was it never gave him ready-made solutions. In fact, they made him think, they made him reflect. And so I think there lies the beauty of the mentorship, that it actually made him take the ownership and do it, instead of getting some ready-made answers from them.
Like for me, I would say that when we went to University Connect, we thought we could file a few applications in Australia, few in Canada, one or two in US. But a good mentor always begins with answering the broad questions first. She made us focus on one particular country, and within that country, 6-7 institutes that we ultimately ended up filing the applications. So that way, I would say her, like Anu said, mentoring worked at two levels. One was the broad questions, major decisions, and then there were specific activities which her team guided our child to perfection.
So Angad had applied to I think 7 universities in Canada. So he made to 6 of them. So he made it to UBC, University of Waterloo, Alberta, McMaster. So in fact, except for University of Toronto, he made it to all the 6 that he had applied.
Did he receive any scholarships?
He just received a scholarship from Waterloo University, and in addition to the scholarship, he received the co-op program in the Waterloo University. I think as soon as the child comes in the high school, so that orientation and that mindset, because the Indian university education system is quite different from foreign education system, and now presently with the new education policy, like even our higher education system is also undergoing a lot of changes. So instead of the child being lost and him not being knowing, so it's not necessary that a child is going abroad only for higher studies. So I think university connection is a connection for universities, whether it is India or abroad. I think that counseling and that guidance should start as early as the high school. And so the close mentorship may begin little later, but the guidance and the path can be created as early as from 9th class onwards.
So our advice to any student who wishes to take or make a career of his or her own choice would be to start looking at options right from a high school 9th or maximum by 10th. The first thing is to speak to people who can guide or help a child to make choices about life. This is an age where children are confused, what should I be doing? There is so much available. We are from that era where things were not available in India. And now we are sitting on the other spectrum where the choices are so many. And at times it can overwhelm or confuse. I would say one of the most educated, even parents also. Like one of the things both of us thought when we went to University Connection was that we knew many things. But actually, looking at when we went there, we found that our knowledge was at max. very little. So a child is looking at one level to make his or her choices about his life. Number two, coming to the realities of the world, which are very, very, I would say, ruthless. The systems that are available in India, or the choices that are available in India, and the choices that are available outside. The choices that are available outside are many, but one key difference is they look at a comprehensive profile of the child, which in our education system many a times children miss out. Children focus on education, one piece. They don't focus on extracurricular, they don't focus on sports activities or other social responsibilities where a child can get involved. So, and by the time a child realizes, if a child or a parent go to an expert at a very late stage, then you have already missed out so many things. So I guess advice to any young student is, by the time you are starting to make choices about your life, start also side by side, a parallel work should start on which are the institutions which can help me achieve my dream career or my life. So I guess 9th at max 10th is a good enough time for a student or child along with the parents to sit out and go and look out for the people or institutes who can help.
So I would like to add to this that there are a lot of misconceptions. Like you speak to as many people, you will have as many advices and caution regarding higher education. And there is no solution which is tailor-made and one size fit for all. So that is why I would advise that every child after class 9 should have the opportunity to make informed choices after meeting the experienced people and organizations like University Connection to give them a way forward.
In fact, since the time our son has gone abroad, we have already recommended University Connections to 7 of our near and dear friends. Now, why did we do that? We did that because here is one expert who's very honest and upfront, and who makes the child and parent work along. So as you go along this journey, it is like I said, the experience while the child is in India is as good, if not better, than when the child is making transition abroad. So anyone who wants value for money, who wants an honest and transparent process about what is happening, when it is happening, we've always recommended that. And that's what, in fact, when we look back at our journey or association with University Connection and Mrs. Charushila, and that has been the most satisfying piece in this whole relationship. And it is, I would say, it is alive, and we will keep recommending University Connections in the future also.
Yeah. So if anybody asks us for recommendations, and at times, some people even want shortcuts. They tell us that you have gone through it, you tell us. So I said, no, we just have a bit of experience. We are not in a position to guide you. And so if anybody asks for recommendations, University Connection is at the top of it. So just to add to that, in fact, we also came in touch with Charushila ma'am and University Connection through our dear friend Monica, whose 2 girls, one of them is studying in University of Alberta and the second one is studying in University of Toronto with scholarship. So she recommended to us. So I think it is like a chain reaction.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would go along with 10. The reason is simple. See, we are living in an imperfect world. Things are changing very fast. Things change within months. So when I look at a relationship with any consultant, why I'm giving 10 is, in all those uncertain times, changing times, there is one institution or a person standing behind the institution who has always sort of walked along with us and has made those uncertain times happier times. They have provided us information wherever they could do, earlier, They provide information after the event. So there is that transparency and honesty which I look forward. I mean, people may ask, okay, what about the amount they charge, the things they do? Yes, of course, we are a demand-driven economy, and I would pay when I see an honest work out there. So I would say it was worth the money, the effort, and the time that we have spent with it. So why not 10 on 10? Yanu?
Yeah, so if on the ratings, so why 10 on 10? Because 10 on 10 means perfect. So I would add to that, like, we have been through this process when the pandemic started. So besides, like, their job was done while the offers came in. So their job was complete. So what makes it 10 on 10 is that during the lockdown, the uncertain times, the uncertainties, when no one knew what was happening, when were the visas coming, still University Connection was just a call away. So that's why they deserve 10 on 10.
Oh, that's a happy question. You know, in the last 2 years, Angad is the president of the Arts Student Union in his 4th semester. Angad is president of 2 research clubs out there. And Angad is getting a multicultural exposure. The university has given him the platform where he is learning in the classroom, outside the classroom. I would say Angad is happy, and so are Angad's parents. And in fact, Angad's sister, who's just got into 10th, is all excited to follow the footsteps of her brother.
Yeah, and to add to it, he has, as a second year student, he has just completed his summer internship with the Finance Ministry, Ontario, which I think was a great learning experience, and it was so empowering. And he said that this is much beyond what they learn in the books. So I think that mentorship which he got with Charushila ma'am at University Connection gave him the confidence that though the college was still in the online, he involved himself in the various clubs and activities, that he was also part of the endowment club.
Yes.
Yes, and he had a right to veto, and he was also part of the committee to design the curriculum for 2024-28. And there were only 2 students, 1 international and 1 national, and he was one of them. So he's doing really well, and he's really happy about his choices and the right guidance he got at the right time.
As a father, as a parent, what was I trying to do in this whole thing? 12th in India is highly competitive, stressful. Our child is a national level horse rider. And he's an intelligent student also. So our job as a parent was to make it a painless transition to the best of the place that our son would want it. Like she said, we were spoiled for choices. In the month, 2 months prior to the board exams, our son, along with his mother, was participating in junior nationals in Bangalore.
Instead of giving the board
Instead of giving pre-boards.
Because we had all the offers on the table.
And
so super relaxed.
when he went, I went to drop him for his first exam. Our son was the most relaxed person in the whole crowd of tense students, so unsure of their future.